Alrighty, folks. So, as far as those psychological perspectives go, this is what you're using as far as analyzing the Grinch and understanding what those modern philosophies are. And so, our modern perspectives are we've got the big nine, which are biological, developmental, cognitive, psychodynamic, behavioral, sociocultural, evolutionary. And we haven't really dealt with trait perspective. It's on here, so don't worry about that one too much. And if we were to kind of, well, it's not going to let me just click. I'll go on like this. We've already looked at this screen. I know I'm kind of in the way here. Let's see if I can move myself out of the way for a second here as I go flying. Different schools of thought. We know about it says William, it's Wilhelm Wundt. His student Titchener created the first one, which is structuralism, devoted to uncovering basic structures, structures, basic structures that make up the mind, looking at the elements of words, and experience. Wundt would use the scientific method, which legitimized it as a science. He used introspection, and you're going to read a little bit more about introspection today and learn about it. Titchener took it on a little further and theorized the three basic states of consciousness: sensation, your five senses; images and thoughts, those thoughts, and affections. Am I going to be in the way here? So introspection. Think about how you would describe this picture, your thoughts when thinking about this. What would your strengths and weakness, what would be your strengths and weaknesses of introspection? Mine is being still and quiet and not letting all the things I have to do. Would you just immediately go to the facts about the picture? Would you have feelings about winter, about the cold, the sensations? Think about those five senses again. So we had those critics of structuralism. There's always critics, right? They focused on the issues with introspection. They also were stated that conducting research only in a lab and not in the real world was a problem. William James, who was a professor at Harvard, wrote the first ever psychology textbook. He wrote critiques of Wundt. He wanted to focus on consciousness and create ways to help people in their environment, not just in a lab. And he's the one that focused on functionalism. And functionalism looked at behaviors and how they evolved. Think about your morning routine, why you do things in the order that you do them. Is it efficient? Is that a driver? Is that comfortable? Were you taught that way? Is that a good idea? This is functionalism. We looked at Gestalt just a little bit. I'm sorry. I was looking too far ahead there. I'm like, that's not Gestalt on the screen there. Parts of functionalist view of psychology. It focuses on the consciousness and the way consciousness helps people adapt. You do your routine perhaps because that's what works best in your environment. And an experiment done in a lab doesn't necessarily give a good explanation to how you adapt to your environment. Functionalism also emphasizes individual differences with his approach, and this individualized approach changed the education system for people like John Dewey. Remember the Dewey Decimal System in the libraries? That's how things work. Stated that children should be taught what they are developmentally ready to learn. Developmentally ready versus what they say you should be doing at that time instead. Functionalist thinkers were people like Thorndike, William James, Mary Winton Calkins, Ebbinghaus, and Angel. Stop at this point and you'll get another video on some of the other ones.